Dear friends, this is the second part of Jack Van Impe special. Left off, he was talking about the war of the latter days when all the tribes of the world march against Israel. It's starting to happen right in front of our face. Russia, North Korea, China, all these other countries he's talking about where he left off. So hope you enjoy that. This is 100% truth out of the book of the Bible. So here it is, Jack Van Impe, second part right here.
Among them we find Egypt, Daniel 11 verse 40, Syria, Isaiah 17 verse 1. In Ezekiel chapters 38 and 39, when we get to chapter 38 explaining 39, it talks about Persia in verses 5 to 7, and Persia changed its name to Iran and Iraq in our lifetime.
The movie 300, folks.
And then in the Hebrew it has Cush and Put, and that consists of Ethiopia, Libya, Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, parts of Africa, the Sudan. And then when you get to Psalm chapter 83 verses 5 to 7, it mentions 10 other Islamic nations for the biggest push in history against a little nation called Israel, because Ahmadinejad's dream must be fulfilled. We have to get rid of the Jew. And 18 times it mentions that Israel's the battleground of the world. Ezekiel chapter 38 verses 8, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, chapter 39 verses 2, 4, twice and 7, 9, 11, 12, 17, 22, 23, 25, 29. Don't tell me that we can appease these people. It's never going to work. And this war is already in the planning stages. I'll have more to say.
Yes, he'll have more to say in just a moment. We wish it would work. We all wish that it would work. But according to the Bible, Jack's going to be talking more about that. But the thing, friends, of all the headlines that I've read to you so far, this one troubled me the most from USA Today. Without missile defense, in other words, a defense system, we will be vulnerable to attack. America will be vulnerable. Jack, what an enlightening article that truly was to me.
Oh, I hate to tell you this, but Obama sent a secret message to Medvedev of Russia and Putin. And now it's been revealed by the New York Times, which got a copy of the agreement, and it said, if you will help us get rid of the nuclear weapons that Iran is going to have in their possession very soon, I will negotiate with you to get rid of all of our missiles. We have 20,000 between us, and we're going to narrow it down to 0, and neither one of us will have another missile. Now that sounds good, doesn't it? But wait a minute. There are 33 other nations that either have or will soon have atomic weaponry, and they're not going to do away with their missiles, and they're going to be able to hit us from North Korea, and Russia's building bases, attempting to in Cuba and in Venezuela to be able to hit us, and we can't trust them like Chamberlain trusted Hitler. It doesn't work, and we are in real trouble in the future, because this Bible predicts an atomic war when Russia and China march, and that's again Ezekiel chapters 38, 39, Revelation chapter 16 verse 12, and chapter 9 verses 14 to 18, and the atomic bombs are located in Psalm 97:3, Isaiah 66:15, Ezekiel 20:47, Joel chapter 2 verses 3, 20, and 30, Zephaniah 1:18, Malachi 4:1, and a third part of the trees was burned, Revelation 8:7, and the third part of men were burned by fire, smoke and brimstone, Revelation 9:18. That's when China makes the move with the leftover armies of Russia for the greatest war in history. God help America. God help us to make some wise decisions.
Well, you know, we want to hide our head in the sand sometimes and don't want to hear some of the bad news. But we must be exposed to what is happening in the light of the Bible, and Jack's going to refer more to that, and he's going to give us some good news in just a moment. Friends, I think that...
There's more of part 2 here.
There is Obama's revolution. It is on the way. And we see change we need. That is certainly what he has been saying right along. Going on, Obama takes world stage. And here, this is something, Europe has been enthralled. Will Obama's popularity help the United States? And how they see us, the Obamas take Europe. Certainly they captured their hearts. And you see it again, Prime Minister Obama, they're saying, will the European statism help America. In other words, the way they conceive of our president and his family. Will that help America? Jack, you know, he's really enthralled the world.
Really has, Rexella. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. This is not a conspiracy theory. I can prove everything I say. There's 7 major organizations that have been promoting the world order for a few hundred years, and the first was the Illuminati, and then we had the Bilderberg, the Council of Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Club of Rome, the United Nations, and the New Age movement. I prove that every one of those groups has its leaders talking about a new world order for the last 100 years. Furthermore, here are some of the names that are being projected as the one that will become the leader of the New World Order. There is Juan Carlos of Spain, Javier Solana of Spain, Sarkozy of France, Prince Charles of England, but
Prince Charles,
we're now talking about Tony Blair. Remember, the presidency of the EU has only been for a duration of 6 months and a constant change, but they said we'll make him the permanent president because of the time in which we're living, so that he can become an architect of the new world order along with Obama of America. This is shocking, ladies and gentlemen, because Henry Kissinger has promoted the fact that the creator of the New World Order will undoubtedly be Obama, because, first of all, the love that the world has for him. When he preached in Germany, millions listened. And they said 80% of the members of the European Union would vote him in right now as the president of the One World Organization. So he says, because of the great respect for him, because of the global catastrophes, we need someone like that to control the New World Order. What a day to be alive. Remember, we'll not know who he is, because the rapture takes place the night before this one comes to power. That's how near it is.
Whoa, well, let's see. Some influential men in our own government, right here in the United States, and what they have said and have to say. The first one, you recognize him, Senator Byrd, and he's talking about Obama in power grab. Let's see exactly what he had to say. As presidential assistants and advisors, White House staffers, and are not accountable for their actions to the Congress. Now, of course, see, friends, he's in the Congress. He's saying, you're not coming to us for any voting. They're not accountable to us. They're not accountable to cabinet officials and to virtually anyone but the president. Senator Byrd is very, very concerned about this because Obama's doing what he wants to do without their approval.
And the next picture tells us why, and that is Newt Gingrich.
All right, we will go right to Newt Gingrich. And I think that he has certainly had a very, very powerful statement about what is happening. He's so concerned for our country. He was, of course, the past Speaker of the House when he was in Congress. And Jack, give us his verbiage, will you please?
Well, you just heard that Byrd says there's a power play and we're being left out as Congress and Senate. And it's all in the hands of one man. And so Newt Gingrich on the Greta Van Susteren show, March 26th at 10 in the evening, said, this is the first time in history we are headed as a nation for a dictatorship. God help America.
All right, Jack, I have some very, very important headlines here. Where does it appear that our nation is headed? Take a look at the National Review, our socialist future going on. We are all socialists now. And if we're socialists, certainly this next one, will the banks survive? Socialist government can take over the banks. Obama wants to control the banks.
Here it is.
Let's take a look at this. First, Nationalized Bank of America coming soon. And GM's future at stake as Fed step in.
Fed step in to take them over.
All right, once again, here we see it. We stand behind your warranty here at Government Motors. Whoa, that's GM. Let's go on. Goodbye, privatization. Hello, nationalization. Whoa, there's another one. Warning over surveillance state. And in the novel 1984 by George Orwell, the author projects that all nations will be governed by a world government overlorded by a super dictator.
1984.
We're going to go on here. We recognize this political figure.
This is going to be part 3 coming up next. Hope you enjoy.